Vietnam, it's only part of my life, but the physical and emotional and psychological impact remains. But you have to learn to live with that, leave that in a box and try not to let it out. I went to the RSL for my first Anzac Day in 1971 with my father, who was a World War II veteran, and I was accused by a World War II veteran of being a baby killer, and he was against the war, and so I got up and left, and it took me a very long time to ever go back to an RSL and also to be forgiving. The Vietnam veterans put on buses from all over Australia so the veterans that didn't have any money could just hop on a free bus. And wonderful stories where families just picked up the veteran and went and put him on the bus. Said, "You're going, and here's your bag, we've already packed it for you, you're going." That was not an uncommon thing where the families forced the veterans to go, and it had a great psychological release. My experience was that I'd go down there at 2 o'clock some mornings and just, try to approach the memorial, but there'd always be someone else there. It didn't matter whether it was 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, there was always another veteran down there, or a group of veterans down there. And then I started to realise that blokes were actually taking ashes of their mates down there and putting in the memorial, into the moat. And so it started to become a very important place for a lot of veterans. And of course the place to sit was on the 3 seats with 2 names on each of our 6 missing in action. And I always wondered what had happened to them. It was for the sake of the families. What has been proven is that the families suffer from grief, and then there's inherited grief. The children bear the grief that the parents did just as much. And then that's passed on to their nieces and nephews and grandchildren. We started to get pieces that were British, because you see the B-57 and our Canberras were essentially the same, but there were differences. And so I had to find the bits that were different. And when I found enough of the bits that were different, I was able to convince Air Force, this is our aircraft. I'd done the investigation, and then I needed to bring all of that information together to the Vietnamese government, where I could convince them, using our anthropologists and our other specialists, that these remains were our men. There's so many things enter my mind every day, because that's the problem with getting older. You look back and have regrets, you look back and, think, could I have done something differently? But I think back and I can still see the faces of the dead, and I still cannot, I don't have any, where have I got it? I find it very hard to forgive myself.